we pivot to a topic that I know you find sort of laborious at this point.
It's a good word.
Which is Bitcoin.
Yeah.
This ETF was approved just about a week ago now, and I think a lot of people are trying to understand what it ultimately means. JP Morgan, I imagine if you were a client of JP Morgan, you could call your broker and say, "Get me some of this ETF." Mm-hmm. What are you telling your brokers to tell them back when they make that call?
Yeah. So this is an important thing. This is the last time I've ever talked about this in CNBC, okay? So help me God. Blockchain is real. It's a technology. We use it. It's going to move money. It's going to move data. It's efficient. We've been talking about that for 12 years too, and it's very small, okay? So I think we've wasted too many words in that. Cryptocurrencies, there are two types. There's a cryptocurrency which might actually do something. Think of a cryptocurrency as an embedded smart contract in it, and then we can use it to buy and sell real estate and move data. That may have value.
The idea of tokenizing.
Tokenizing things that you do something with. And then there's one which does nothing. I call it the pet rock, the Bitcoin or something like that. And so on the Bitcoin, there's, first of all, and I'm not trying to make a joke here. There are use cases, AML, fraud, anti-money laundering, tax avoidance, sex trafficking. Those are real use cases, and you see it being used for hundreds, maybe 50 or $100 billion a year for that. That is the end use case. Everything else is people train among themselves. So
speculate.
Yeah. Now, my last statement, the last time I ever talk about Bitcoin is I defend your right to do Bitcoin. I think, it's okay. I don't want to tell you what to do. So my personal advice is don't get involved, but I don't want to tell any one of you what to do. It's a free country.
What do you make of the other firms, the BlackRocks of the world that obviously, and Larry Fink changed his view of this, obviously. Yeah. And maybe he changed his view because you think he genuinely believes in Bitcoin or believes it because he thinks that there's a marketplace for it and he wants to be part of that market. But what do you think of there's about a dozen big financial companies, Fidelity included.
Number one, I don't care. So just please stop talking about this shit. And I don't know what he would say about blockchain versus currencies that do something versus Bitcoin that does nothing. And maybe that's not different than me. But, this is what makes a market. People have opinions. This is the last time I'm ever going to state my opinion.
So once again, there you have it. Jamie Dimon bashing Bitcoin, not a fan. Or is he a fan? Is he lying to you? Is he trying to scare you away from what's coming? Bitcoin is labeled a commodity per the IRS and also an ETF. Now, what's that mean? You're going to have all these investment funds that are buying Bitcoin spot and offering it to their clients, the Fidelities, the Vanguards. And JP Morgan is involved in that. So there's a huge demand. And you don't have to have something that does everything. Bitcoin's a store of value, just like gold. It's a digital store of value. You can take it with you anywhere. You can custody it yourself. And that's what they're doing. And they're going to be offering it to every baby boomer all the way down the spectrum. They're going to want to custody every single Bitcoin. Remember that. Don't listen to what they say, but follow what they do. And with that, what's happening in Crypto Cruise? Sean's coming back at you. Another cryptocurrency video. Getting straight into it. We're taking a look at the alt market. Altcoins are getting ready to rip. As you see this here, we were in this downwards falling wedge. We broke out of it. Then we had a candle wick back down. And then it looks like we just came back up. And right now we're just sort of getting a red candle. This is on the weekly, but this looks like a technical breakout bump and run pattern that could be gearing up. The RSI seems like it's putting higher highs and higher lows. Will the next couple months be extremely bullish? Looking at an update from Immortal, he's looking at Ethereum. Ethereum back in 2018 had that blow off top back around the $1,200 range, then went into a bear market, and then look what happened. Once it broke this macro resistance from the previous lows in the 2019-2020 bear market, look what Ethereum did in mid to late 2020. Keep this in mind. Look at the similarities. We had this peak, and then we had a retracement, putting in a higher low, ultimately putting in a bear market, what we've seen all 2022 and 2023. Ethereum broke out, came out, retested. Are we in the same level that we are here? Are we going to see that macro run up going through 2024? Looks very bullish. TA Trader Allen is saying the same thing. He's calling for a bull pennant, and Ethereum is waiting for the breakout and hitting this technical target up to the mid 30 $500 range. Take a look at Bitcoin really quick. What do we see? What do we anticipate? We could see a pullback in the short to midterm. We'll show you that. 42.6 is what we see in Bitcoin, and as you see, we're just putting in higher highs and higher lows. Look at this 20 moving average. We could come back down and kiss this, because one thing we want you to know, in the previous bull run, what did Bitcoin do once it got above this? It came back below it, and look, we had this ABC correction. This was the black swan event, but when the bull run happens, we sort of bounce off this and stay above that 20 moving average. So if we do fall below it, then we could see lower price action, and we could come back down all the way down to the 31.5 level potentially, and it could reset the RSI going to the halving, and that would be a buying opportunity. Or we could come back down and just retest this in the mid 30 range. Everybody's anticipating and calling for a $36,000 to $38,000 Bitcoin price. So are we going to see a temporary cool off, or are we going to have a run up and then maybe trade sideways while this catches up into the halving? You be the judge, but all in all, just dollar cost average, because you know what happens after the halving. This blue line's the halving. Look what happened here. Blast off up and to the right. An update from Crypto. He's showing you on the short term. He's looking here, and we actually broke this trend line, had a retest, and now a breakdown. So we could see lower price action, which is back what we just showed you in this chart. Immortal, what he's calling is for a pullback down to the mid 30 range, and then look what time it is. Off to the races. Going into the halving, this could be the halving rally and continuation after the halving, and six-figure Bitcoin price chart. And then TA Trader Allen looking at the MACD. Every time we have a MACD bullish crossover, meaning that we go from the red to the green, look what happens. Blast off. Every single time, blast off. This time is not going to be any difference. The biggest difference is we are very, very oversold on this indicator. So are we going to see a massive rally to the upside and a lot of room to run? That could be what's in the cards. Another update from TA Trader Allen. 3 months before the halving, look what happens. There was a black swan event last time, and the times before that, that was the bottom, and it was just up and to the right. So if we don't see a black swan over the next month or two, we could just be seeing up and to the right, getting ready to hit that $150,000 to $200,000 range. Without further ado, let's get the latest from Raul Paul and what he's telling you to do for this next cycle. Let's hear from Raul.
So the cost of goods rises faster than your income, so you have less discretionary spending power, right? That's what caused the economic slowdown. That was the shit show that happened in 2021, 2022. Asset inflation is different. Your future self is poorer. What an asset is a way of tying up your capital in something with an expected return. So in a future date, you're hoping to be wealthier. The issue is there. So with this regular inflation, which I don't think is sticky, I think it falls back again. It doesn't mean that prices don't come down. The prices come down, but the rate of inflation comes down. This asset inflation is more pernicious, and it's the thing that people don't understand. You know, if you go and speak to your parents and say, you know, how many times your income would it cost to buy a house when they were in their mid-30s, they would say 3 times, 4 times. You ask a 35-year-old now, how many times your income would buy a house? It's like 10, 12, 14, 15 times, right? So their future selves are poorer because they can't buy that house. I think that is more destructive over the long run. They're both destructive, but this is bad.
So that's from Raul. What do you have as far as a hedge that can outpace the debasement of your dollars you're working for? That one answer is Bitcoin. And with that, that's all I have for you today. Once again, I'm Sean with the Bitcoin Bros. You guys like this content, go ahead and smash the like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and show us some love. We appreciate the support. With that, that's all I have for you today, and I'm out.